Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. Here we are starting another week. It's getting towards the end of May. Summer is almost here and lots of activities and lots of things that we've wanted to do and haven't gotten to. So I'm hoping that this week I can share a few ideas that'll get you excited about life and get you thinking about all the things that you could do that would be helpful. So this morning I'm going to start with 2 Peter chapter 1 and verses 3 and 4. Here's what it says. By his divine power, God has given us everything we need for living a godly life. We have received all of this by coming to know him, the one who called us to himself by means of his marvelous glory and excellence. And because of his glory and excellence, he has given us great and precious promises. These are the promises that enable you to share his divine nature and escape the world's corruption caused by human desires. Okay, let's take a look at this, see what we can see. It starts out by saying that God has given us something. And what he's given it to us is through his divine power. This passage sets out at the beginning that God is in charge. God is in control. He is the author of everything. And I know some of you listening to me kind of question that or wonder about it or not quite sure that's really true. But you think about it. How many of you can take a little seed and grow it into a great flower? How many of you can take a little acorn and grow it into a great oak? Okay, you could say, well, that's DNA and that's nature and that's evolution and whatnot. Okay, I'll grant you that. Could be that. So the question comes, who made the seed? Who made the acorn? You see, when we start questioning whether God really is in charge, it doesn't take us very long to find out that we get to the point where either he's in charge or there is no other answer. So let's take this as an assumption. It says here, by his divine power, he's in charge. God has given each of us, you, me, people next door, people that you like, people that you don't like. He's given each of us everything we need to live a godly life. Now think about it. You are immensely skilled. Well, I know a lot of people don't think so. There are a lot of people who think they can't do much at all. And I hear it all the time. Would you just, oh, I can't do that. I just don't know how to do that. Well, yeah, you do, but you don't have any confidence. And here, to live a life that God wants us to live, it says here, God's given us everything we need. He's given it to us. And says we've received this by coming to know him, the one who called us to himself by means of his marvelous glory and excellence. We have received all of this by coming to him. When we come to Jesus, he gives back everything we need. Everything. Whether it's faith or patience or conscience or a need to recognize I've been wrong, whether it's strength to stand up in the midst of bullies, whether it's a determination that I can overcome this. Whatever it is you need to live the way God wants you to live, he gives you when you come to him. Now, if you haven't come to him and you're struggling, okay, my simple question is, why do you keep doing that? You know, why do you keep doing the same thing that hasn't worked? And for those of you who are Christians and think that life is just a bear, well, you need to think differently because God has given you the ability to have great joy. And if you're not having it, it's not his fault. So it goes on to say, and because of this glory and excellence, he's given us great promises and precious promises. What kind of promises? Well, I've talked about some of them in the past, and maybe I'll make that a series sometime soon. We'll call it the promises of God. But the promises include little things like you'll never be alone, to big things like I'll provide all your needs, to even bigger things like when bad situations happen, I'm there with you, to even greater promises that says when life ends on this earth, it only starts in a much, much better place. Who else can make those kinds of promises? Who else can keep them? Now, maybe you've had people make promises to you and they didn't work out. Okay, humans can make a lot of promises, but our ability to keep them is actually quite limited. But God's ability to keep his promises is unlimited. And it says here that when we come to him, he gives us everything we need to live the life that he wants us to live. And by coming to him, he fills us with all kinds of what it calls great and precious promises. Can you see the hands of a caring God here? He doesn't say, come walk with me and then you figure it out. He doesn't say, hey, you ought to follow me, but hey, it's up to you to figure out how to do that. No, he gives us everything we need because he wants more than anything else. He wants you and me to walk with him, not just on Sundays or an occasional Sunday, but every day, every minute of every day. God's graciousness is immense. And it says here, this allows us to live and escape the corruption of the ungodly around us. Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. You think about it this week. I'll come back with some more ideas tomorrow and the rest of the week, and we'll see what God wants to do in our lives. Thanks so much for listening. If you have a need or a concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to help meet your need. So until tomorrow, God bless you. I'll talk to you again.